From the headquarters of Fight Back Media, The Morning Report, with your host, Willie Lawson. Well, good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to The Morning Report. My name is Willie Lawson. The Morning Report is a production of fightbackmedia.com, fightbackmedia.com, fightbackmedia.com. And if you're watching the video, the screen behind me is a screenshot from Microsoft Flight Simulator and How I Dream. That's what you need to see. You need to see in 606 Whiskey Lima. It's a Citation CJ4. And yes, I want one. It is one of the most inefficient and unfriendly to the environment ways to transport yourself around. You can see it doesn't really hold many people, and most times it's only holding two. Most times, when you see one, there's only two people in it. Sometimes only one. It is the most unfriendly way to travel, but I want one. I want two. I want one for me to fly around in, and I want one to rent to other people to fly around in. That's what I want. So anyway, we can dream build. Again, welcome to the program. The president was on the air last night, and because he is a great uniter, and he is the one who can bring people together and all that stuff. But it doesn't seem like the administration, those involved in the administration, are interested in that at all. And we'll talk about that as the program goes on. And some of the imagery is, and I tell you folks, imagery is important. What things look like, how they are colored, um, how they are set up. None of this stuff is by accident. None of it's by accident. None of it. And what we're seeing here is something to be aware of. Um, the president basically had a battle speech tonight. Now we're going to go through some of the excerpts that were just debunked. Everything the White House has said about what they were going to do. And the speech is, it's one thing. They send the president out to say one thing and then they say something else. It's classic gaslighting. It's classic double speak. It's news speak because they know the people who are with them will only hear what they want them to hear anyway. Will only believe what they want them to hear. All this that we do here is for your benefit, so you know what you're up against. So we'll talk a little bit about that. There's an NBC reporter who is angry when people point out who's controlled the city of Jackson, Mississippi for decades. I mean, they want to talk about all that's wrong with Jackson, Mississippi, and then the environmental racism and blah 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 blah. And then when you bring up, well, who's in charge there? Who's setting policy there? Who's controlling things there? They get a little mad. They get a little touchy. We'll talk a little bit about that. And then we'll wish you all a fabulous Labor Day. Now, I know Labor Day is a socialist holiday. Did you know Labor Day was a socialist holiday meant to do one thing: celebrate labor. Not labor like having a baby. No, don't be stupid. Not labor like having a baby, but labor, the labor movement. And it has been inculcated into our culture as a day off, right? And we look forward to it as part of a vacation. For a lot of us, it tolls the end of summer. And in a lot of northern states, now you can't wear white anymore after Labor Day. First of all, I never understood that, and I still don't understand that. That's stupid. And when we get back, the first show when we get back will be my birthday. My birthday. I'll be this many years old. I'll be 62 years old. So again, I trust that you will have a fabulous weekend. Now we're going to turn that into months because I want to say I'm months old. No, we have I'm 4.5 months old, or I check my child is 18 months old. I don't know how many months is 62 years. It's 62 times 12. I know what it's 744 months. I'll be 744 months old. Started in diapers, seem to be heading back that direction. All right. In any case, we're going to go a little break. We'll be back with more of the program right after these messages. Thank you again for coming to the program. We appreciate you being here. You know, it was pretty gruesome last night in Philadelphia. Pretty doggone gruesome. But what we have to know is this is what they want. This is what the people who are behind Biden want. This is exactly what they want. Because a lot of us, unfortunately, are still under the impression that everybody wants the same thing. We just have different ways to go about it. No. Ahead of the president's primetime address to the nation last night, the White House released 3 short excerpts of the president's remarks, and they immediately and directly contradict what Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre told reporters earlier in the afternoon. MAGA forces are determined to take this country backwards, Biden will say, according to the excerpts, backwards to an America where there is no right to choose, no right to privacy, no right to contraception, no right to marry who you love, the president will add. And okay, anyway, that's a speech that Jean-Pierre said mere hours earlier would be optimistic and would not be political. What's more, Biden's press secretary said on Thursday night, Americans would hear from him directly. This is not about one political party. It's not about one person in politics. But by retreating to his new favorite trope, Biden will again attack MAGA forces. That is Republicans and the former president. Biden's speech is directly about one political party and one person in politics that he just can't seem to shake from his mind. Biden will also speak, quote, speak plainly to the nation about the threats we face, end quote, and, quote, the power we have in our hands to meet those threats, end quote, in order to, quote, choose, quote, end quote, an incredible future, quote, end quote. For a long time, we reassured ourselves that American democracy is guaranteed, Biden also plans to say, but it is not, he'll assert. We have to defend it, protect it, stand up for it, each and every one of us. Again, these are direct political appeals for Americans to stop the supposed threats, in air quotes, Biden is set to try directing the country against. The Republicans and supporters of former President Donald Trump, whom he previously called extremist semi-fascists. All of this will come in the shadow of Independence Hall in Philadelphia when the president addressed the nation at 8 o'clock last night. Now, if you are viewing the videotape or the recording, I'm going to I want to show you something because I've said for years, and I will continue to say that the imagery that they are producing is extremely important, and it isn't anything that we should not pay attention to. We should pay attention to imagery all the time. I mentioned to you when they started talking about COVID and or even back in the Barack Obama days, the imagery they used was very important. The imagery that was used that's used in every single solitary bit of politics, negative politics around the world. is extremely important. So for if you're watching the video, check this picture out. It is Joe Biden at the podium with a red background on the wall. We have two Marines standing in the background. The military is not supposed to be at these political gatherings. The military is supposed to be and has to be apolitical. Unfortunately, we know that it isn't. Who's ever in charge of the Marines, who knew this was going to be this picture that you're seeing on the in the video, that this was going to be the case, should have never allowed these Marines to do it. The answer would have been, no, sir, Mr. President, I can't allow that. No, sir, I can't allow that. It's against everything that we're doing. It reminds you, again, I keep going back to this because I want you, let me stop sharing this. I keep going back to Animal Farm, where the pigs are in charge and the dogs are protecting the pigs. Who are they protecting the pigs from? The other animals. Because they know what they're doing. They know what they're trying to get done. And also what they know is that the other animals aren't going to go for it unless they are forced to, coerced to. And they need protection. Unfortunately, that image reminds me of Brave New World. I mean, not Brave New World, but Animal Farm. Let's keep talking. Let's keep talking. Even NBC and CNN. Now, strangely enough, and you might not have known this, NBC, ABC, and CBS did not carry the president's speech live. Huh? They did not. Only who? It was a TV event for MSNBC and CNN. But it didn't take long after the president finished his rancid combative remarks in Philadelphia for the reviews of the latest divisive screed from, quote, Mr. Unity to come in. And they particularly were not in favor, they were not favorable from those among the 70 million Americans who were declared hatefully working to bring about an end of democracy. Kayleigh McEnany, we know Kayleigh, tweeted, Mr. Unity just gave the most divisive presidential speech I've ever heard. Tom Cotton, Senator Cotton from Arkansas, said it's audacious for a president who calls his political opponents semi-fascists to be lecturing America about decency. Joel Pollack writes for Breitbart. We did a few of his articles earlier in the week. That is what a speech after a coup looks like. A president flanked by uniformed soldiers and bathed in red light as he delivers an address that every network must carry. In addition to the caustic content of the Biden message, vote for the people I say, or you're a vote for the people I say, or you're a fascist. The staging was also of note. It was not just the ominous red hue that bathed both sides of Independence Hall. No, the Marines standing at attention behind the president grabs viewers' eyes. Miranda Devine tweeted this on Fox. Brett Baer, an even-handed journalist, points out the ominous backdrop to Biden's vile political speech. Dark red lighting with two poor Marines standing at attention behind him. Baer said it is essentially a convention speech designed to divide the Republican Party. Jennifer Jacobs tweeted this. The networks, CBS, ABC, and NBC, didn't carry Biden's primetime speech live. criticizing the Republican extremism CNN and MSNBC did, it was delivered with alarm, red lighting, and 2 U.S. Marines standing behind him. A producer for ABC pointed out an obvious but important truth as well. This is from Jeffrey Cook. The Marines behind Biden was weird. If Trump did that, every Dem operative I follow would be freaking the F out. Meanwhile, even CNN talent was unnerved by the display. Chief National Affairs correspondent Jeff Delaney took issue with the staging of the Marines behind Biden for such a political speech, calling it a break with White House traditions. Jeff Delaney said this: "There's nothing unusual or wrong with the president delivering a political speech. It's inherent in the job description. But doing it against a backdrop of 2 Marines standing at attention and the Marine Band is a break with White House traditions." CNN's Brianna Keilar joined the criticism as well, saying that the positioning of Marines behind Biden for a speech like Thursday night flies in the face of the idea that the American military is supposed to be apolitical. Thursday night's political use of military personnel was not even Biden's first flub when it comes to protocol and existing precedent, Guy Benson pointed out. Jennifer Griffin tweeted before, Biden unsettles Marine Band members by campaigning for Democrats at an official event where they played. Perhaps Biden's combative screed was ironically previewed by the White House as one of unity did succeed in one way, uniting media across the partisan spectrum in its criticism of the integrity of the president used to back up his words. I am sure everybody here at Pieback Media is sure that this is, Joe Biden didn't wake up this morning and say, we're going to have red lighting. I'm going to get 2 Marines and I'm going to look all 1984 Animal Farmish. Did not. I doubt very seriously that Joe Biden had any earthly idea what even was happening behind him. I doubt if he had any idea. Forget that this is not protocol. We saw, protocol get tossed out the window 1,000 times during the Obama administration. So, and Joe Biden was there. Right? So it's not something he's probably, breaking protocol is something he's used to. Because he probably doesn't even know what the protocol is. Which makes it easier because they can just do whatever they want to do, because he is not going to say, no, we can't do that, because he doesn't know. And the people who do know don't care. Golly, I wish I could. Maybe a t-shirt that says, the people who do know don't care. These people aren't stupid. They don't care. They're just doing whatever they want right in our faces and daring us to do anything about it. Daring us to do anything about it. Yes, I know that we shouldn't be using the military to do this. I know, but what are you going to do about it? No, yes, I know that that red light was ominous and scary, but what are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about it? And I keep saying this to you, and I'm going to keep saying this to you. Some of you who are trying to, I know, go back to your lives and think that, all this political stuff is just too much. I don't know what you're going to have to see to bring you back into the idea that you have got to be a part of this. There's no way not to be a part. I don't know what you have to see. I don't know what you have to hear. I don't know what has to happen to you. I don't know what has to happen to your family. I don't know. And I'm not normally an alarmist. I'm not. People who have been following me know that I'm not. But I'm going to tell you how, what I'm thinking. What I'm thinking is that we may be getting to a point that you're not going to be able to make a decision. We may be getting to the point where you're not going to be able just to vote for somebody in 2 years and be done with it and go another direction. We are getting to a point if we don't stand up and at least say something, we may not have the chance, the ability, the right to do so later. We'll take a little break. We'll be back with more of the program right after these messages. Right. All right. You know, what the left hates more as much as anything, what they really make, let me make sure I got all my stuff unmuted. Be talking here and be talking to myself. Hang on a second here. Click the button. There you go. All right. They hate to be reminded that their policies don't work. They hate to be reminded their policies don't work, which is why they get so bent out of shape. When you have California, who proudly said last week or week before that they weren't going to be allowing any more gas-powered vehicles after 2035, only electric vehicles, only EVs. And this week, asking people to not charge their EVs and put their thermostats on 78 degrees to save power because they don't have enough electricity. And you're thinking, okay, so they're stupid. I've told you a million times they're not stupid. I told you a million times that this is part of the plan. The plan is to create so much heartache and so much hurt and so much pain that the idea then is for them to come in with the grand solution to ease the pain. And the pain and then the easing of the pain is what? Is a lot of mass transit, a lot of government sponsored mass transit, a lot of government coming in and basically using smart thermostats to control how much electricity you use through air conditioning or whatever. Smart meters who know how, they're able to turn things on or off in your house so you can only use them during certain hours. And I know this sounds hyperbolic and dystopian, but I'm telling you, this is what they're planned for. They don't being like told they don't like being told that their policies don't work. So an NBC Tech and culture reporter Kat Tenbarge tweeted how the ongoing water crisis in Jackson, Mississippi, is a result of environmental racism. Anyway, but became upset when users pointed out that Democrats have been in control for decades, and it appears that local politicians ignored warning signs. It is the largest city in Mississippi. It's 80% Black. Their water system is failing because of years of neglect. This is environmental racism, Twin Bark tweeted. She tweets, ignoring this is unconscionable. Letting it become someone else's problem isn't an option. We only have each other. When the climate crisis reaches your doorstep, will you look back on the people it affected first and wish you'd done something then? When conservative commentator Stephen L. Miller said Republicans haven't controlled the city for a long time, Tenbar said, oh, that's where all the races in my mentions came from. Oh, that's where all the races in my mentions came from. How is the city of Jackson supposed to come up with over $1 billion to fix their own water supply? Or should people die from thirst in the Republican-led state of Mississippi while you play partisan politics? Well, here's the deal. This reminds me of Katrina. This reminds me of George Bush hates Black people. Democrats have owned that city and Jackson, Mississippi for decades. And they are responsible and have been responsible for the water supply in Jackson for decades. The state is not solely responsible for it. Those in the city who have been running the city, the mayors, the city council, the county commissions, for decades have been responsible and has seen what is happening to their water system. And you know what they concentrated on? They concentrated on what the National Democrat Party wanted them to concentrate on. They were so engrossed in that, they weren't engrossed in helping the people where they live. The people who wrote the checks, the people who knocked on doors, the people who voted for them. They were not concerned with you. They were concerned with a national agenda. So when something goes bad where you live, and I've elected a mayor and I've elected city council, that's who I expect to come in or to make sure that those systems work and continue to work. And that infrastructure continues to get built. Local reports say the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency revealed the city of Jackson had provided no evidence of efforts to recruit critical operators, maintenance staff, or implement an emergency alternative water plan. Nick Juden tweeted, only days before the near total collapse of Jackson's water system, EPA officials warned me that the city of Jackson had provided no evidence, zero evidence, of efforts to recruit critical operators, maintenance staff, or implement any emergency alternative water plan. That is amazing. The malfeasance is unheard of. The malfeasance there is unheard of. It's unconscionable, to use a word. And will the people of Jackson do something different? Can they be made to hear something different? No. Sadly, no. All right, we got to get out of here and make room for somebody else. So until we see you again, go out there and learn something, love somebody. And for goodness sakes, y'all take care of yourself. We'll see you when we see you. Bye now.